The verb demonstrare in Latin means to show, and demonstrative pronouns are used to point out or show something. These are words like hic, this, ille, that, iste, also that, even is, idem, and ipse. This video will cover hic, haec, hoc, the demonstrative that means this. Okay, so demonstratives are technically adjectives. It's this house or that enemy. Because of this, demonstratives will have forms in both numbers, all 5 cases, and all 3 genders. So here's the full declension of hic, haec, hoc. We'll start with the singular. Hic, haec, hoc for the nominative. The genitive is huius for all 3 genders, and that's a 2-syllable word, huius. And the dative is huic in all genders, and that's 1 syllable, huic. The accusative is hunc, hanc, hoc, because remember that the nominative and accusative are identical for neuters. And the ablative is hoc, hac, hoc. The plural forms are he, hi, haec for the nominative, because remember that the neutered nominative plural is the same as the feminine nominative singular. Horum, harum, horum for the genitive. His for all 3 genders in the dative. The accusative is hos, has, haec, because remember that the nominative and accusative are identical for neuters. And the ablative plural is the same as the dative plural. His, his, his. So as with any word with 30 different forms, it can be pretty daunting to look at and even to try to remember it all. I think Latin students everywhere have memorized this through rote repetition, and that's not that bad. Hic, haec, hoc, huius, 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 huic, 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 hunc, hanc, hoc, hoc, hac, hoc. He, hi, haec, horum, harum, horum, his, his, hos, has, haec, his, his. But you can always try to relate hic, haec, hoc to things you maybe already know. The genitive singular, huius, is really similar to other demonstratives like ilius, other adjectives like unius, and even the relative pronoun cuius. Likewise, huic is like the dative singular ili, uni, and qui, only with a c on the end, and I'll get to that later. If we remove the c from the ablative singular, we get the first and second declension ablatives, the long o and the long a. The plural is much easier. These are mostly first and second declension endings. E and I for the nominative plural, orum and arum in the genitive, is for the dative and ablative, and os and as for the accusative. I took the c off some of these forms to help you see common endings with other forms. So where does the c come from anyway? Well, hic is actually a compound word. The first part is ho with the enclitic ending ke put on the end of it. So this word was originally hicke, and over time the final e was dropped, or at least in spelling. If you listen to the word just a bit more closely, you can still kind of hear the final e. Hicke, haike, hokke. The ke ending is common with demonstratives for pointing things out. And it's most common with hic, but it does show up in other words used to point things out, like ecce, look. So that's enough for the forms. Let's talk about use. Hic means this, and it really refers to things that are near, either physically, like this dog, hic canis, in contrast to that dog, ille canis, or sometimes time or even thought. So hic canis could refer to the dog you currently own, while ille canis is the dog you had while growing up. Hic is typically used as an adjective, but like most adjectives, it can function as a noun, especially when you know what the gender is. Hic isn't just this, it's this man. Haec, this woman. Hoc, this thing. He, these men. Hi, these women. And haec, when it's neuter plural, these things. So when Cicero says, hic tamen vivit, it looks like he's saying, still, that's tamen, this is living. But it's more, still, this man is living, or even just, still he lives. Ovid writes, dixerat haec telos. The earth, that's telos, had said these things, or these words. And the beginning of Caesar's Gallic Wars has, hi omnes lingua institutis legibus inter se deferunt. All of these people, he's talking about the Galli, the Belgae, and the Aquitani, are different among themselves in their language, customs, and laws. Hic can also be used to show what is nearer in the actual sentence, often paired with a form of ille, which means that, to show what's farther away. So something like fratres mei sunt Gaius et Tiberius. Hic est fortior quam ille. My brothers are Gaius and Tiberius. This one, referring to the latter one, Tiberius, the one that is closer in the actual sentence, is stronger than that one, referring to the former one, Gaius, the one that is farther away in the sentence. And finally, there are a couple of adverbs of location and motion, both in space and time, associated with hic, haec, hoc. First, hic means here, literally in this place, and don't confuse this with the masculine nominative singular hic, which has a short I. Hinc means from here, from this place, and huc means to here, to this place. And compare them with similar forms of illic, illink, and illuc. There you go, hic, haec, hoc in all of its glory. It's important to know this fully because this is just one of those words that always seems to come up when you're reading Latin.